Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sammy, United People's TV here after a little cheeky Christmas break. I hope you had a fantastic Christmas. I was about to say, what did you get up to? I'm pretty sure you got up to Christmas. Who had a good time? Who didn't? What did Santa bring you? What didn't he? I don't know. Let me know. But we're going to have a full, I suppose, roundup show. It's been like 4 or 5 days since I did a live. That must be the longest time. Jeez, I can't remember the last time I didn't do a live show for 4 days in a row. We're going to run through all the results from the Premier League last match week. We're going to speak about the Wolves game tomorrow. That's going to top and tail the show. And there's going to be a full roundup and overview of the January transfer window because, it kicks off in a couple of days. We all know that we'd love to sign a midfielder. I still don't know whether we actually will sign one in January, but I'm going to run through the latest on Zirkzee and Roma, which is clearly advancing. Mainoo in the position of United. Not really going to do much. Not until after AFCON anyway. And we'll speak about midfielders. Speak about Elliot Anderson. Speak about Carlos Baleba. The latest from Ornstein. The latest from The Athletic. We'll speak about Amorim's switch of a system. Maybe have a conversation about the Newcastle game because we haven't had a chance to talk about that since. But yeah. How was your Christmas, everybody? You know what's quite sad? I missed the festive. I mean, my Christmas tree is just off camera, so it's still technically a little bit festive here. One thing I would say here, we might have a problem with Fergie's Christmas hat because I tried to take it off, but that double-sided sticky tape is serious stuff. There is a chance that Fergie keeps his Christmas hat on a permanent basis. It might happen. I don't know. Let me see who's here from the mods and the members. And let's get on with today's show. It's good to be back, man. It's good to see you all. I missed you. Carl, good morning to you. Alex, good morning to you. And Maddie as well. We've got, who else down here? We've got Susan. We've got John. We've got Shmi. We've got Pranav. We've got Sasha. We've got Saeed, Simon Benjamin, Garfield. Good morning to all of you. Dean, man. It's always times like this, especially times like this, actually, when I step away from a few days, and I always get a little bit worried. There's just part of me always gets slightly worried. You go, you have a few days off. Like, what if everyone switches off and no one comes back? And then you're all back here, and then Dean comes in and gives 50 memberships straight away. It's just, it puts a big old smile on my face, that, man. So thank you all for being you, and let's crack on with today's show. Let's get into it. New Year's coming up. Who's doing what? Who's going where? I'm probably not going to be doing much now. Don't think so anyway. Right. The results. Let's run through this weekend. Well, this game week in the Premier League. United, of course, beating Newcastle 1-0, and we'll speak about that in a little bit next. Forest against City. City were too good. Anybody watch that? Elliot Anderson's stock just kind of... It just kind of keeps going up. I mean, I hope United could sign him. Don't know whether we will. Arsenal beating Brighton. Brentford whooping Bournemouth. Man. Bournemouth not having a good season. Burnley drawing at home to Everton. Liverpool beating Wolves. Boot. Chelsea losing at home against Villa. Mate, Villa. Someone down there saying Villa needs to stop these guys. I don't know what you do with this Villa team. Let's be honest. United were the better team against Villa. But then they had Morgan Rogers. Villa were 1-0 down at half-time against Chelsea. Boom, Watkins comes off the bench and scores too. They are a team more than informed. Sunderland and Leeds, watched that yesterday. Bit of a close game. I watched the Crystal Palace game as well. Crystal Palace are a bit meh. That's what that game was. Now, can we quickly have just a little few minutes conversation about the Newcastle game? Because we haven't had a chance to after Boxing Day. First half. Yeah. Second half. I don't know why I'm making noises instead of words. Ruben Amorim changed. I think the question I want to ask you, right, is how are you interpreting these changes? Because I've just sort of sat there and, you know, when you like lurk on Twitter and you sort of see what people are saying, but you don't really get involved. I've been lurking and I can see that there's like different ways to look at it. Some are just angry that he's not changed before and feel that this could have happened earlier and that we didn't need to sort of suffer as much as we have. And then there are others that are happy to see him adapting and changing. I suppose you could say that both of those are kind of true, really. Lex saying down there, Dorgu exit on the right wing against Newcastle. Do you think Ahmad has now got competition? No. I don't think so. Because Dorgu was playing more as a right winger than a right wing back, which is where Ahmad has been playing. G-Man is saying orders from above. Do I think it's orders from above? Do I really think that that would ever happen? No. Like, what's the point in having a football manager or a head coach if they're not going to be choosing what? Do I think that there may have been some conversations about tweaks and changes? Yeah, but I don't think it'll be an order from above. I wouldn't go as far as that. Someone down there saying we played badly in the second half. It felt like a conscious decision. Again, I will always not like seeing this from a Manchester United team, like sitting on a 1-0 lead, man. Especially in a season where we've had one freaking clean sheet. I mean, we kept one. We've got 2 clean sheets now. Good. Aiden Heaven Martinez, the defence played well. Sonny Lamont came out and claimed some balls, and it was a very good defensive performance, but yeah. Second half, not good. But we had that game without Bruno, Mainoo, Maguire, De Ligt, Mazraoui, Ahmad, and Bumo. To get that result was a big one. It felt like a big one anyway. And for the first time, I mean, how many times have we said that? I think it was 5 times in the last 6 weeks or so. If Manchester United can take advantage of said opportunity, Manchester United will go 5th in the league. Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham, Villa. I think there are 4 of them. I don't know if there was a 5th. But anyway, we actually took advantage of it. Now, we're down to 6th now. That's irrelevant. United finally... Was he even taking advantage of an opportunity? I don't know the right way to describe it. If you want to talk about opportunities, I'll speak about the games that are coming up next. Like, this is the opportunity. Klein, man. Jeez. I hope you had a fantastic Christmas out in South Africa, dude. What did you get up to? What's the weather like in South Africa at Christmas? I don't even know. I did my turkey on the I don't have a big green egg. What's the Aldi version? You know what I mean? Ceramic barbecue. A little bit of an uneven cook. Parts of it were great. Really annoyed me. I think it's because I had the drip tray I had for the gravy was too big. Just thought I'd let you know. I know you all care about these things. I know you really care about these things. Clive, man. Good morning to everyone. It's good to be back. It's great. It's great that you're all still here. Matt is saying the weather in South Africa is amazing. Warm. Nice. Do you have a braai? Everyone loves a braai. Right, anyway. I digress. I'm getting a little bit distracted there. Do you want something to cheer you up? Cheer you up? I don't know. Don't know. I love calling out comments like this. Sam, great what you do, but you drag it out to get to the real reason we're here. Over 4 minutes into this video of rambling before we get there. Please review this. No. Not going to happen. There's the door over there. This is what happens, my friend, when you build a community. You have conversations with the people who come back and tune in every single day. If you do not like that, go and read the BBC gossip page. Go on other channels where they can just shout in your face instead. I won't ever apologise for saying hello to the people who tune in every day here. And that's one thing that makes this channel different. Never changing that. Anyway, this. As I said, it's going to... It'll cheer you up, but then also make you a bit sad. Because it reminds you of where we were last season. But United significantly better off after the same amount of games as we were last season. Look, 14th with 22 points. Eesh. Now we're 6th with 29 points. Progress. More progress is needed. But as I said, this here, like, I mean, we've spoken about opportunities, and we've had some, and we've missed out on some. I'm sorry, but you're not going to get a better set of... Look, Leeds away is not going to be easy. I think they're a good football team. Watch them against Sunderland. I kind of think they're going to be staying up. I mean, the way that, look, United in the next 3 games are playing 20th, 19th, and a promoted team. And we're playing Wolves at Old Trafford. And mate, that Wolves game, man, that is one of the worst teams I've ever seen Manchester United play against. It's a madness. So that should be 3 points in the bag. I don't know what to expect. Do I think it's a good thing that we're playing Leeds in an early kickoff? Yeah, maybe, maybe not. I'm not really sure. But yeah, of course, we play City after that, Matty. But there's your opportunity, ladies and gents. Like someone down there, Den, saying, look, I reckon it'll be 7 points from 9. That's what United should be aiming for here. Hey, look, but that Burnley game, right? That Burnley game is going to stink. Just prediction here. That Burnley game is going to be a whiffy game of football. They're going to be that team that we hate playing against. Deep line, low block, hit on the counter, defensive shape. You know, those sorts of games that you really don't enjoy watching Manchester United playing. It's exactly what I think that Burnley game will be. The Wolves game at Old Trafford, that should be, let's be honest, 3 points in the bag. Don't need to say anything else about that. I will in the preview, obviously. But that Leeds game, we'll find out. That's an opportunity for United. Let's quickly run through what's going on in AFCON, and then we'll go on to what the headline of today's show is, which is all about the transfers, and I'll bring you all up to date, right? What are you saying down here? Oh, Dean, how you doing, buddy? You're saying don't get to watch a live show much due to work, but it makes the hour and a half journey home much better. Love the show and always support. Thank you very much, Dean, man. You're a top guy. One of the many, many top members of the community that we've got here. Really is. Someone down there saying, these are the teams I dread about the most. You know how we play against them. Yeah, that Burnley game's going to be a... Is it Brighton? Oh, Brighton before City. Sorry. FA Cup. Yeah, I forgot about that one. 5 in a row. Is that ever going to happen? I want United to win 5 in a row. But just a little bit out of spite. I don't want us to ever win 5 in a row. Just so that bloke never cuts his hair. Man. Remember that? I'm glad that no one's really talking about it anymore. But it just became a symbol of something that it didn't need to be. It started off in jest and then it just became really quite annoying, if I'm honest. Right. AFCON. Ahmad's enjoying himself. Absolutely enjoying himself. He's played 2 games for Ivory Coast. And he's won man of the match in both of them. Scored a blinder against Cameroon. Brian Mbeumo's Cameroon. That's him there. In Brian Mbeumo's shirt. With his man of the match award. Man, Ahmad's such a... What an... Random question here. Like, was it personal between Ten Hag and Ahmad? Because he just... Like, obviously, we all know what happened with Ten Hag and Ahmad. Absolutely nothing, really, because he didn't play. Just constantly overlooked him. As if he wasn't even there. Did Ahmad do something? I don't know. But a cracking goal from him. There's actually a really nice goal from Ivory Coast. One of the, I don't know who it was. Was it left wing, left back? Pulled it out defence, switched it across to him. Well, I don't know. There must have been something weird going on behind the scenes. Something must have happened between Ten Hag and Ahmad. I don't know idea. Anthony. Ugh. Right, anyway, let's move on. Headline of today's show, and it's going to be the talking point, for the next, I suppose, few weeks, because the transfer window opens in 3 days. You all know what I'll do on here. I'll see if I can get them updated and working, because currently they're not. But the whiteboards, we need to get those. The 4 whiteboards, I can see them down here. Should I press D? I don't know what's going to happen here. Shouldn't do this. Gonna do it anyway. Got to get that fixed. Told you I shouldn't have pressed that. We'll get the 4 whiteboards going. Linked, leaving, active, and done. I'll run through the latest on what's being reported from The Athletic, because there was actually a big article that came out on Boxing Day, which you may have or not. May have missed. May have not have. May have not have. May not have. And yeah, we'll speak about all the latest now. So, first things first. This is what The Athletic is saying, which shouldn't really come as any surprise to anybody, because it's exactly the position that United should be in. United are prepared to be active in January, although incomings are only expected if they can accelerate the signing of a long-term target. The Semenyo conversation, I mean, we'll have a little conversation about him. I wouldn't say there's much. There isn't much of an update. It's just the Telegraph saying that Liverpool are going to come in for him, and that's about it. I wouldn't say Semenyo was United accelerating the signing of a long-term target. That was United taking advantage of something they considered a market opportunity. Now, I don't know whether that exists in the position that we want. Midfield. Right? So, Cypher down the same. We need Elliot Anderson in January with the new change in formation. Nothing to do with formation, dude. We just need an Elliot Anderson. Yeah, I think you can argue we need 2 Elliot Andersons. Well, 2 top-level midfielders. I'm not excited. I don't mean this in a pessimistic sort of way. I'm not expecting United to make a big midfield signing in January. This is David Ornstein from NBC Sports, I think it was yesterday, day before, can't remember. Anyway.
Their primary focus, however, is the midfield area, and that's number 6 position. You never say never, but I'm not sure that's going to happen in January. I think the summer is far more likely. Why? Because the sort of players they're looking at and the price that they would come at makes January extremely hard to do. So we're talking about the likes of Elliot Anderson, of Adam Wharton, of Carlos Baliba. I think they'd be among, 5, 6 options that Manchester United will be studying for that role.
Again, it's not that I'm bringing you all this brand new information. It's just sort of me summarising everything that's being reported from journalists and sources that we trust. Because I don't want to go into this window sort of feeding you with, what do you call it, false hope? I don't know whether false hope's the right word. United are clearly approaching this window in the same way that we approached last window. And last window, well, you can see where we were because I just showed you that. This was the feeling going into the last January transfer window. United were 14th in the league. We couldn't score for toffee. We needed goals desperately. Playing better in the Europa League, but awful in the league. Linked with Matthias Tell, didn't sign him. And we're going to be linked with other midfielders in this January window. I'm going to run through what the latest on those are. This is a bit... wouldn't say funny, but it's just like my word has a conversation changed around PSR. Look at that. Remember, of course, number one, all the cuts that have happened, it's reduced our bottom line costs, which has made us a little bit more sustainable. Number two, we actually made some money from player sales. Number three, the PSR accounts, they've been calculated on the wrong one the entire time. So it's never actually been as bad as we thought it was. Look at that. United could actually lose 140 mil in the 24-25 year accounts and still remain compliant with PSR. So, like, any conversation about PSR, park it. It's not really related to Manchester United anymore. Now, whether we've got the money or not, it's kind of two different things. We know that our cash in the bank is not high enough. We know that I don't think we've maxed out our credit cards, but we're still free spending on the credit cards. That's more where the conversations are. How can Manchester United increase our cash flow? How can we bring more money in that's dispensable that we can then spend on other players? Because we owe over 300 mil in transfer payments to other clubs. But in terms of actually being a club like, I don't know, random, but Newcastle needing to sell Elliot Anderson for PSR and Villa being right on the edge of being fined, and Newcastle, that's not going to happen to Manchester United, all right? That's a good thing. Alex, I've got no idea what the squad cost ratio is right now. I think it's got to be less than 70% to be compliant with UEFA, isn't it? I don't know whether that's over a space of a couple of years. I think it might be. Gungshi, dude, I see you there. Merry Christmas to you, man. A little bit late on that one, but just great to see you. Gifted 20 memberships, man. Love you. Someone down there saying financial gymnastics versus a thriving football club. I don't like it at all. It feels like we have to do a little bit less financial gymnastics now as fans compared to last year. Man, the amount of things that we had to sort of try and figure out and do this and do that. We're not close to the bottom line anymore. Yeah, and look, I can agree with you here. Like, Man United need to make so much money from selling players, and actually it feels like we've got the opportunity to. Right, transfers. Speak about some players. As I said, this isn't really an update that has any sort of relevance to us now, but this is kind of what's going on with Semenyo. Right, he made his choice. He chose Man City. Wrong choice. Apparently Liverpool are going to be going in for him. There's no sort of conversation about United being back in the mix. Right? So don't worry yourself about anything to do with Semenyo. Number two, we know. Actually, well, we don't know really. I think the Athletic have consistently been saying that Elliot Anderson is our first choice midfielder. And he's not leaving in Jan. And we know why he's not leaving in Jan. I don't need to repeat those conversations like World Cup, blah, blah, blah. He's not leaving. And then you've got Fabrizio Romano, who's pretty consistently been saying that Carlos Baleba is actually our top target. I still don't know which, but clearly both of them are right up there. Like, I know that Baleba's actually had a pretty, let's be honest, quite an awful season for Brighton. Played much better for Cameroon against Ivory Coast. What is your take on Baleba now? Just out of curiosity. Like, have you got like a fixed position or like a fixed opinion on Baleba now after the season that he's been having with Brighton? Is it sort of like, nah, man, we can't take him like that? Clearly, his mentality is not right. He can't cope with the attention. They're like, do you see red flags that would stop you signing him? Like, genuinely, they don't for me. I just see Carlos Baleba now as... I mean, there is a long string of players like this. I don't know why Marcus Rashford springs to mind, but Marcus Rashford does spring to mind. Maybe it's because it's like a recent example of a player who, I'm not comparing situations exactly, but somebody who left his situation he was in and sort of flourished. Maybe that isn't the best situation. Can anybody think of any better examples? But the point I'm trying to make, well, I know I'm waffling here because I'm trying to explain what's in my head. I don't look at Baleba and the form that he's currently in at Brighton and think that's just the player he is now. And that for the rest of his career, that's how he's going to be. Do I think he's in a dip? Yeah, I think he's in a dip. But I don't think that's his new norm. And I don't necessarily think that because he's shown that form at Brighton that he can't handle Manchester United. I think it does raise some questions. But I don't necessarily think they're questions that don't have answers. I don't think that there's no chance that the right coach like Ruben Amorim and the environment of Manchester United can bring that better form back for Baleba. That's kind of the way I see it. Scott McTominay, that's a pretty damn good example. What are we saying down here? His perceived mindset is a worry. 45 mil tops. What's he done? I'll be very interested to see if United actually do go. Because I think if there's any midfielder that's that top level that we go in for in January, it's going to be Baleba. It won't be Wharton. It won't be Anderson. It will be Baleba. Because we already inquired in the summer. And we could probably lowball them with another offer that they might then think about now. Maybe not. He did play awfully against us. Let's be honest. Brighton as a team have been pretty poor as well. Someone down there saying he's oozing potential. What was I saying down here? If Elliot Anderson doesn't move this summer, has a massive dip next season, do we do the same with him? Mate, Elliot Anderson is moving this summer. Like, you can guarantee it. Don't know where. No chance that Elliot Anderson plays with Nottingham Forest next season. Like, I go as far as to say 0% chance. That's a stupid thing. Like, if he gets injured and misses the World Cup, then maybe. But other than that, no. Baleba. Random question here. We know that United inquired to try and sign Baleba in the summer, and we wanted to try and get him for the same price, I think, if I remember correctly, that Chelsea got João Pedro for from Brighton, which I think was in the what was that, 60? How much did they sign him for? 60? 65? Something like that. Do you think if United go in for Baleba in January, that will be where the price is? Or do you think United would go in and try and lowball at like 50? Was it 65 mil that João Pedro went for? I think it was. 60, 65, one of the two. And that's what United were sort of pricing Baleba at. I mean, of course, it would be much nicer if football finances were as simple as this, but just because we offered 65 mil for Semenyo doesn't necessarily mean that we'll be able to offer 65 mil for Baleba. Because, of course, the 65 mil for Semenyo included a 20 mil upfront payment for part of the release clause, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to see United go in. I suppose you can't go in too low. But we already pissed Brian off by having the conversations with Baleba last summer, so we may as well continue doing it. Let's see. If I was to have bets on, as I said, on any top level midfielder that we go after in January, it's going to be him. Now, the Ruben Neves conversation, I already did a video last week before. I've always admired Ruben Neves. Do I think he's not really similar to Belieber at all? Being completely honest, like two very, very different profiles of midfielders. This is what Fabrizio Romano is saying on that, right? Saying he's not signed a new deal, despite the proposal being on the table for weeks. Current deal is expiring. Several top European clubs have started approaches over a potential move in January, seen as a potential opportunity in midfield. So, sounds like Ruben Neves could well be moving. Someone's mentioning Manacone down there at Roma. I'm pretty sure he was I'm trying to remember the names of the midfielders that we ran through in the summer. Manacone is definitely one of them. Now, Ruben Neves, do I class that as a market opportunity? I mean, I suppose technically it kind of is, because he's going to be a free transfer in the summer. Someone's knocking on the door. Elevator music's back. Welcome back. Coming on. Why? You've got 50 minutes in an entire day. Can you just not? Anyway, where were we? Right. Shane is saying Neves is an instant upgrade on Ugarte. To be fair, right? Ugarte played pretty well against Newcastle. Got to give him credit for that. John, you've posted that multiple times. I need to get a Ring video doorbell. I've got one. Still got to answer the door. What? Ring, can you open my door for me, please? Take that and then close the door for me as well. Alex, I won't do the quiz today because I haven't got it set. Well, not today. But I do want to keep those quizzes going, I think. We all enjoyed them. Maybe we can do that like once a week. Maybe we can add that into the Friday show, for example. We can do the map and we can do the quiz with a prize. Because I've still got a load of posters down there. Anyway, lots of you speaking about Neves down there. And I would like to sign Neves. And I don't know whether that's because I'm still remembering the Ruben Neves that was at Wolves and I haven't watched him enough at Al Hilal, and I don't know enough about the profile of Neves. Sure, yeah, that might be true, right? That might be true. But for the prices quoted, which are somewhere 15 to 20 mil, would I consider him a good squad midfield signing? Yeah, I think I probably would. Now, I know that this is the thing. This is the caveat. Like, I could do that with so many other bloody midfielders, man. It's kind of an issue. What's the PO Box black hole? What's going on there? The PO Box is working now. Eamon, if you're watching, I apologise I haven't put this up yet. But I will be putting this up. So this is a program that Eamon sent in. I'm sure can you see the date on it? There. 1964. How awesome is that? 2 pence. I will be putting that up. Another midfielder we've been linked with. Yeah, James Garner, I've seen that. But I think David Ornstein was like, well, I haven't heard anything on that situation here. Look, Keith Smith, we spoke about him. There's different levels of signings, aren't there? You've got your top level, your Premier League provens, your 50 to 100 mil level players. And somehow Keith Smith is sneaking into that. I mean, I'm sitting there going, like, good luck. 60 mil euros for Keith Smith. Mate, no one's doing that. Ain't no one doing that. Just a bit random there. The next De Jong, well, that's exactly what they want it to be labelled as. But Keith Smith, Ruben Neves, Carlos Baleba, Elliot Anderson. There's going to be lots of midfield rumours and lots of midfield links. And I'm going to try my best to keep on top of them for you and also to bring you the ones that you can trust. If I was to, I'm going to do a video. When will I put it out? Maybe tomorrow? Maybe just after the window started. But I'm going to put like my ideal January transfer window that I think could actually happen. There's no point in me saying, oh, my ideal window is signing Elliot Anderson and selling Ugarte and selling, I don't know, Zirkzee and getting... Well, it's just not going to happen. But I'm going to run through what I think could realistically happen in that video. And we move on to sales and exits. We speak about Cobby. Basically, this is where we're at with Cobby. We know full well that he wants to leave United on loan in January. But United aren't entertaining anything right now. And United will only have conversations about Cobby's future once AFCON is finished. That feels like a... I feel kind of totally unrelated to me, if I'm honest. Like, why on earth does Ahmad and Mbumo and Mazraoui being at AFCON have anything to do with whether or not Kobbie Mainoo goes on loan? They're two completely unrelated things. Bruno's injury, a bit more related. Kobbie's injury, a bit annoying. I suppose also related. But I think that's kind of United maybe just like kicking the can down, not kicking the can down the road, maybe delaying a little, somewhat. Don't know. I might do a poll here. Just out of curiosity. Do you think Kobbie leaves on loan? Let's get that up. Yes or no? It doesn't matter where. I haven't got to choose exactly where. Obviously, Napoli's been where he's been linked with the most. But do you think he leaves on loan in January? He wants to. I can see down there mentioning Collier. Obviously, Collier has suffered. I don't actually know what injury he's suffered, but he's out for around about 8 weeks. Thereabouts. And Man United have made it clear to West Brom that he's not going back there. So Collier has now been technically recalled, I suppose, by United. And once he's recovered from his injury, then he'll be available as a midfield option, potentially. Then you think, no, too short on numbers. Jam saying if he leaves, we're screwed. I'm not sure whether I'll go that far. Siraj saying he feels he'll start the next game. I don't know what's going on with the severity of his injury. I think it was a calf injury that he got just for the Villa game. So for the Villa game, and then we had the Newcastle game. No word from Ruben. When's Ruben's press conference? Has Ruben got a press conference today? I think he might do. Rob saying, hope so. Don't want him leaving in the summer. That really is something that I feel is 100% true. If Kobbie Mainoo doesn't get a loan move in Jan, I think whether it's a formal transfer request, I don't know. I suppose he's technically put in a transfer request for a loan. Did it in the summer. Did it in Jan. If he stays and he doesn't play in the summer, that full transfer request comes in and Kobbie will try and leave Manchester United. I'm not exactly sure I can blame him. Heard Amas is linked with going to Birmingham. That's random. Not seen that. Collier's a good squad option. Might be ahead of Ugarte when he recovers. You know, remember, he was ahead of Casemiro. He was ahead of bloody everybody at a certain point. But something that... Look, if I go down to the poll there, 62% of you think he's not going to be leaving on loan in Jan. Well, if he doesn't get much game time, that's going to be an issue. Somebody who there is every chance that he leaves in January, Joshua Zirkzee. Now, Fabrizio here is just confirming something that The Athletic reported on Boxing Day, but if you haven't seen it...
Man United, via intermediaries, have received an official bid from Roma for Joshua Zirkzee. It's a loan with a potential obligation to buy. Roma have an agreement with Zirkzee. Zirkzee is ready to go to Roma and would be open to joining Roma, but this deal depends on Man United, on the management, on Ruben Amorim. They have to decide and say, okay, you can go. If they give the green light, the deal can be closed any moment, but this depends on United.
So, Zirkzee. Man, it's really hard to sort of talk about players that you just kind of don't really feel good enough for Manchester United without sounding like a dick. I don't try to sound like a dick. But man, that Zirkzee cameo against Newcastle was like painful. Very much like last season as well. You know, when the ball, like whether it was Zirkzee, whether it was Højlund, it just, that performance from Zirkzee reminded me of everything I didn't want to be reminded of from last season. Because like last season, every time the ball went up towards either one of them, it just bounced off them, or the centre-back just stuck his foot round and won the ball. And I was like, oh, mate. Like the drop-off from Šeško to Zirkzee in terms of ability to be the central isolated striker was, it's bad. And unfortunately for Zirkzee, very much at a time when if he wanted to stay, that's the worst performance that he could have put in. Zirkzee needs to be like alone with an obligation. Presumably, it's going to be very similar terms to the Højlund and Napoli deal. And that obligation kicks in if they qualify for the Champions League. So doing that with Roma, hey, look, they might get into the Champions League, but they might not. So, who knows? Question I've got for you, right? If Zirkzee does leave, which it very much looks like, look, the offer's in, he wants to move, it's down to United. And I don't particularly know why United, like, apart from just like a pure bodies perspective, and Zirkzee, I'm sure, is a good lad. Again, this is nothing personal. It's just from what I'm seeing on the football pitch in terms of his abilities as a footballer and how they complement Manchester United as a team. And I don't think they do. So therefore, I don't think it's the best fit. Therefore, good luck elsewhere. That's the way I see it with Zirkzee. If Zirkzee leaves, what do United do in terms of our options up front? We've got Šeško, of course, who's just come back from injury. And he's had a... I think he's had a... How would I describe his start at United? I think he's been all right. But I'd like to see him score a few more goals. That's kind of the way I would look at it. Yeah, like you could speak about Cheeto, but Cheeto's not even been... I think he's been injured a couple of times, a little bit. That feels far more likely, Alex. Cunha, effectively, as a central option behind Šeško. That feels far more likely. And therefore, that opens up one of those number 10 spaces for maybe someone like Shea Lacey. Gabriel Bianchetti is not an awful shout. Right? Considering the season he's having, he scored 2 for the under-21s against Dortmund. Under-19s against Dortmund. I don't know. Premier League International Cup. Anyway, banned 2 in at Old Trafford. It was a great game. Get Igalo back on loan. Nah. Come on, Weghorst. Kirbet. But look, Zirkzee leaving on loan feels... I can't think of one reason why it shouldn't happen. From us, we need the numbers in the squad perspective. No, I don't particularly think so. Yeah, I don't see a reason why Zirkzee doesn't leave United on loan with an obligation in Jan. Right, let's move on to final talking point of today. The Wolves game. Right. Glenn saying, could we see JJ Gabriel for the end of the season? If I'm correct, you can't see him in the Premier League because I don't think he's eligible. But you might see JJ Gabriel in the squad for the Brighton game, for example. And I don't think you will, given that we've only just got Shea Lacey coming through and he hasn't made a start for United yet. You would presume that he would be getting an opportunity in that sense. But this game against Wolves... Mate, we've got to slap them up. I'm talking disrespectful levels. Like, Wolves were triple bad when we played them away from home as well. They're coming to Old Trafford. They're not going to have Andre. David watching from Thailand. How you doing, buddy? What's time in Thailand? 6 hours ahead? About that. 10 to 5? I think so. Anyway. Andre's not going to be playing. But even if he was. Mate, this Wolves team, I just want to crush him. I really, really do. Right? A couple of talking points around the youth before I wrap up today's show and then get cracking with today's lunchtime video, which is going to be the Wolves preview. I thought this was a pretty cool comment. Cool? Maybe that's the wrong word to use to describe it. I think it's just good to hear one of United's, I suppose, younger players speaking so effusively and so brightly, I suppose, about Ruben Amorim. Danny saying, why did we have to smash Wolves? Arsenal, Liverpool scraped past them. We've lost all them players since. I don't care what other clubs did. We trounced them in their own ground. There is no reason why we shouldn't repeat that scoreline. Even look, it's a fair point. Liverpool only just beat them 2-1. Sure. Arsenal needed an own goal in the 95th minute to beat them. We didn't. We beat them 4-1. I suppose we are going to be missing some players, so maybe... hey, look, as long as we win, I don't really care. I'll be honest. But back to what I was talking about here. Heaven. Who is playing brilliantly. Right? All credit to him for keeping his head down. Perfect example of that sort of player. It's what we all want our fringe players and our younger players, and the attitude for them to have is what Aiden Heaven had. Head down, keep working. Opportunities won't come. Opportunities aren't here. You're not playing. Oh no. De Ligt gets injured. Maguire gets injured. Boom. You're playing central centre-back and you're starting there 5 games in a row for Manchester United in the Premier League. Wow, okay, right. Good. I'm in. And he's been brilliant. And the way... it must be a reason why... I suppose not every manager loves younger players. But there's something to be said about the loyalty that managers get and the bond that they have with players that they bring through. Because for Aiden Heaven, Ruben Amorim's the most important manager he's ever had in his career to this point. He's the one who's given him his Premier League debut. He's the one who's played him 5 times in a row. So he's got so much belief in Amorim, and he will probably do more and fight more for Amorim as a consequence. It's kind of like a two-way street. Yeah, 1 mil. Man. all credit, like, you know, Jason Wilcox has got some things right, and I'd say he's got some things wrong. Mate, spotting this lad for a mil. Well done. I wonder how many other Heavens there are in club academies that have the ability within, I don't know, 6 to 12 months that they could be a starter for Manchester United. There has to be more of those. Finding them, maybe it's like a needle in a haystack. Don't quite know, but he's been class. Yeah, and it's all credit to Aiden. It's all down to him. It's all down to his approach and down to his quality. And it's the reason why I love watching Lisandro Martinez so much, and it's the reason why I'm enjoying watching Aiden Heaven so much. Watching a centre back be able to drive through a gap that appears and bring the ball forward, or to be able to no, don't shit yourself. Like, you're getting pressed. That's all right. I'll just turn the other way. Oh, good. The press is gone now. All you got to do is beat that man. I'm not saying be dangerous and do Cruyff turns on the edge of your own box, but have the equality and the ability to do that. It makes a big difference. But on top of that, like, you saw Jack Fletcher get 45 minutes against Newcastle. That was a tough game, man. A lot of defensive work for him there, and up against a very busy and big Newcastle midfield. I was saying that. I sent him a match reaction. I was so surprised. I was so surprised how passive Newcastle were. And I was surprised at how passive Villa were. Do I think the Wolves will be as passive? I don't know. They're crap, though. So we should be beating them. But Jack Fletcher, getting some opportunities. Shea Lacey, getting some opportunities. Well, less than Jack, but still getting some. And this is a consequence of AFCON and United having some injury problems. But that's how Aiden Heaven has now come into the first team. Aiden Heaven, would he be starting right now if De Ligt had never got in? No, he wouldn't have. De Ligt played every single minute in the Premier League this season until he didn't. And then he's been out now. We don't even know the extent of his injury. I think it's like a back injury, back concern, more than anything. But that gave Heaven the space, and he grabbed it. Alex, I don't think James Scanlon's ever going to get a chance at United. He may as well leave. Truth be told, if he's going to get one, he would have got it last year. But somebody who I think we all want to see get a chance is Sekou Kone. At some point. Remember that he missed 3 months with... And this is... I keep seeing people... basically, this is a photo of him training with the first team. So he's doing some gym work. Maybe it's just gym work. And he's not actually training with the first team. He's just in the gym at the same time. I don't know. Missed 3 months because of a fractured eye socket. Is now playing for the under-21s again. And maybe at some point this season, you'll see this lad in a matchday squad. And in the same way that we're seeing Jack Fletcher and Tyler Fletcher, by the way, how awesome would that have been for Darren Fletcher? Let me get that photo up. That must have been unreal. Where is it? How awesome must that have been, man? Now imagine being Darren Fletcher. And you got your twin lads. Your twin teenage lads. Both in the matchday squad. For Manchester United at Old Trafford. Whilst you're sitting there in the crowd as the under-18s coach. Man, what a cool life, man. It was ridiculously awesome. Like, you've nailed it as a Manchester United player. You're loved by the fans. You've got a great relationship with everybody. Then you work for the club, and then you're now the under-18s coach, and then your two boys who have just been promoted from the under-18s are then involved in a matchday squad. That's some sort of like dream stuff, man. That's some proud dad shit. His mum was taking pics with the phone when he was coming on. God love that, man. Two very different footballers, but both equally as exciting. I'm not surprised that it's Jack that's broken through first, but I'm looking forward to seeing Tyler get an opportunity as well. And yeah, to wrap up today's show and say a big welcome back to the best community in the world. If you are new to United People TV, can I encourage you to subscribe? Do things a little bit different here. Do things a little bit differently here. Might be a little bit of a slower pace, but we actually have a conversation. We have a chat. I'm trying to engage as many of you as I can. But Ruben Amorim, the reason all those weeks ago after the Brentford game, I said that I had lost faith in Ruben Amorim's ability to bring momentum. Because I didn't think he was going to be changing anything. It just felt at that point like it was he was sort of transfixed on this like one ideal, and if it wasn't that, then no other version of it could work. And we're really starting to see some more adaptability. Part of it is a little bit enforced because of AFCON, but if I'm being completely honest, I think he's just using that as an opportunity. And I don't mean this in a horrible way or a cynical way, but I think he's using that as an opportunity to be able to change his system, because then people don't think he's undermining himself. It's sort of like part of a consequence of injuries in AFCON and players who are missing. Now we're adapting and changing. Because it was something that he said quite early on. Sort of like, if I was to switch and move away from my ideals, then you go into the same sort of situation that Ten Hag found himself in. Of course, he said his tactics adapted to the players, but he just chopped and changed so much. You're like, I got no idea how United are going to play. I got no idea. Right? What's going on? But let's find out what happens against Wolves. I'm going to run through the starting 11 and my predictions in today's lunchtime video. As I said, no quiz today. But maybe we'll bring it back tomorrow, because I'm pretty sure Alex has got them ready. Oh yeah. Thank you to everybody. It's great to be back. Nice to see you. See ya. Nice. All right. Take it easy.